Hi, and thank you for tuning to the Fight Zone podcast. In this episode, I talk with an Australian mixed martial artist and national team member. Colby Boy Thicknesse is IMMAF Oceania 2020 Featherweight champion. He is trained in Freestyle fighting gym by coach Joe Lopez and current UFC Featherweight champion Alex Volkanovski. You can follow their gym at Facebook and Instagram, Freestyle Fighting Gym, one word. You can also follow Colby and his progress on Facebook and Instagram, Colby Thicknesse, one word as well. We talked about his experience in preparing and competing in IMMAF Oceania 2020. We also tried to look on the bright side and advantages the current lockdown situation bring for the athletes. Colby also had a great idea how to find enough sparring partners during the lockdown. I hope you enjoy this episode as much as I did. Stay healthy and stay strong.
Why do we fight? To protect home and family. To preserve balance and bring harmony. For our kind, the true question is, what is worth fighting for? The Fight Is All podcast.
Hi, we should be on now.
Perfect.
Sweet, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Yeah, good man, good. Let's start this. Can you tell me your story? How you started, how you started training combat sports? What brought you in the gym?
Yep. Yeah. So I was 5 years old when I started wrestling at the local PCYC, and the reason that I got into it was I have a twin. And me and him, we used to always fight at home. So my dad ended up taking us down there so we had somewhere to fight it out. So I ended up wrestling for I think 7 years straight, and I won a fair few state national titles and all of that. And then I ended up going over to my MMA gym now, Freestyle fighting gym, when I was 13. Because when I was wrestling and playing rugby league at the same time. And then I ended up quitting rugby league because I was just too small. I just never grew. And I was sick of big guys running over me. So I went to MMA where I can fight people my own size. And then I started jiu-jitsu when I was 13. I was doing jiu-jitsu pretty much not full-time, but it was a lot more jiu-jitsu than kickboxing or stand-up. Won a few jiu-jitsu titles, a few nationals, same sort of thing as wrestling. Then I had my first MMA fight when I was 18. And now I'm 20 and I've had 9 fights now.
Good. What belt you are in jiu-jitsu?
2-stripe purple belt.
Sweet. How you get into how you got selected and got in the national team?
Yeah. So one of my training partners, he was one of the coaches for it, and he said you should try out. So I ended up going up to a gym in Sydney, and I tried out for it at King's MMA, and it was just like what was it? It was a Sunday afternoon sort of thing. We ended up just doing sparring rounds, wrestling rounds, just everything. They put us for a big workout. There was about 20 of us, and then they just picked the best from the people there, and then you made a national team. Yeah.
Good man. Well, that was obviously a good pick. You brought gold on Oceania.
Yes.
So you especially you had a full run. You had all 3 fights. Your brackets was full.
Yep.
So can you bring us over the fights and how they went the whole 3 days? Your opponents. So first you met junior world bronze medalist Ali Yaqub. I think he was from Bahrain, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, he was. Yep. Yeah, so I fought him in the first fight. I knew he was a very strong wrestler and just strong all around sort of thing. So I just knew I had to play my game. First round went my way. I ended up snatching his neck a couple of times, but I hung on a bit too long with guillotines. I actually ended up gassing my arms out a bit. But lucky I got through that. And then in the second round, he ended up getting my back, I think from a failed takedown, or he capitalized on a scramble. And I spent pretty much all the second round defending him off my back. But the funny thing was, he was, I think, more tired attacking me when he was on my back than I was defending. Like, I knew that it was about, I heard my coaches say a minute left, and then but I could hear him breathing, and he was breathing like he was trying to go for the finish and that. And I was thinking, man, we still got another round after this. So I ended up just not trying to escape, just defend and make sure I didn't get subbed. And then I knew the next round starts on my feet. I'm just going to go out there and try and put him away as fast as I can. And that's what sort of happened. We got up. I looked over to him in between the second and third round. He was sitting down. I could see how heavy he was breathing and everything. And I was like, oh man, I've got this. So it's just as soon as that bell went, just came forward, ended up getting the body lock takedown. I knew I just had to take my time and sort of secure it and make sure I didn't make a mistake and end up on top again because he had very good top control. Then I got him down. I went for a head and arm choke and I actually ran into the cage. So then I jumped back onto the mount and I just finished him with punches. So it's a pretty fun fight. I enjoyed that one. It was good. It was a good test. Probably the hardest fight straight off the bat, so it was good.
Well, from my experience fighting in tournaments, the first fight is always the hardest because you kind of, like you enter in a tournament, like it's for me was always about taking the first fight because then you're into the tournament, so then you're competing. So the first fight was always, like, do you like that's always the most challenging because you kind of enter from the normal world to the tournament world. So the first fight was always the most challenging, the hardest, at least mentally for me. I don't know how it is for you.
It was funny because I was so happy after the first fight though. Because normally you do all this hard training, 8 to 10 weeks, you're killing yourself in the gym. Then you have your amateurs, you have your 9-minute fights, it's over. Then you got to do all that training again. But after my fight, I was more happy that I got to fight the next day than I was that I actually won. I just wanted to keep fighting. But then after my second fight, it was a complete 180. I was so sore.
Yeah, your second fight was actually with a teammate, another guy for Australian team. So how that went?
That was good. It was hard because he didn't fight the first day. He had the bye in our bracket, so he came in fresh. I had a black eye, but other than that, my body was still pretty prime and that to go, so I felt real fresh. And then I knew he had good real striking at range and that, so I just sort of had to use my cage wrestling and just forward pressure and stay on top of him. And I got the decision that way. All 3 rounds I won. I ended up I secured a good takedown in the first round, which got me around. Then the next 2 rounds, I just sort of played my game on the feet, pushed him up against the cage, and just sort of landed points. Nothing too big, but just racked up the points slowly and got the decision.
Yes, sometimes playing safe on this what is bringing you the victory because you had the final then to play, which was again the English guy Devon Thompson. Who is actually pretty experienced in the IMMAF competition. So how that went for you?
It was funny because after that second fight, I was saying how happy I was that after my first fight I got to fight, but after my second fight, I think I had about 5 minutes after, I had my hands in 2 bags of ice. I had ice on like both my eyes, my ears. My knee was blown up. I was falling apart. And I was like looking over at him because he won his fight straight after. We sort of looked at each other and we're both just like, crap, we are so beaten up when we got to fight each other. But the actual fight, it was I was very happy with my performance. First round was a bit iffy. I got him down early in the first, and I got too excited and I tried to finish him too early in that. But I did get some good shots in. Then we got back on my feet. I got another takedown, and then he has a really good guard, and I did, and I think I left my arm and he got me in a nice deep triangle. And then there was one point.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I was actually watching it because I was processing the results for my next match.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So I managed to watch all the finals, not all the other days, but I managed to watch all the finals. So I remember this round. I was like, oh, that's close.
Yeah, it was deep. So I ended up trying to slam my way out of it, which is a bad decision because it put me in tighter. And then I remember thinking that there was about 30 seconds left, and I had both my arms on his leg. I was like, as long as he doesn't armbar me, I'm either going to go out or I'm just going to end up escaping sort of thing. And then I ended up getting to the right side and stacking him. And once I did start to stack and start my escape, the round went. So you could say I was lucky, but I think honestly, I felt his legs sort of breaking in that, and I felt pretty comfortable, like out of danger there, because I was pretty much in the worst place you could be, and I felt alright. So once I started my escape, I felt good. And then we got up to the feet, and then we started the second, and I was like, I knew I could out wrestle him, but I'm like, I just can't let him play off his back. So the second round, I ended up just trying to give him no space and just inflict as much damage as I can. End up getting, I think I got a 10-8 that round off one judge as well. I just stayed on him and tried to inflict as much damage and pain trying to finish the fight. It was really tough though. It was real good scrambling up his back, so I didn't get the finish. And then in the third round, I remember looking up and the same sort of thing, looking at him between rounds. We see how tired he was. So same thing. I just came up, kept it pressure on, got him to the cage. I got a double, then I secured an outside trip and just sort of rode out the top control again, and secured the win.
Yeah, good on you. Congrats on that. It was good performance.
Thank you.
So the MMA format is a bit different from most of the MMA competitions here in Australia. So how you approach with your preparation about that? So like what was different? Like what you put more emphasis towards and.
The main difference for me going into this was because you get your bracket, but you don't actually get the matchups the day before. So instead of all my other fights where I've had a set opponent for say 8 to 10 weeks where I can game plan against them, my whole camp was just focused on improving what I'm gonna do. So my game plan was to come out, just cage pressure people, and take them down and grind them up against the cage. And I think that's what's worked so well because if there's 7 of us in a bracket and you try and game plan for everyone, you're not improving yourself. You're just worrying about what they're going to do. But we came in with a focus of we know what I'm good at. We improved some of my weaknesses, but then we just really refined what I was good at and just used a sort of set game plan on everyone, and it obviously worked well.
Yeah, that obviously worked well. How you approach with your weight? Do you have to cut weight or?
I normally fight at bantamweight, so 61.2. So I was pretty comfortable actually, but I did end up sauning it every night. But it wasn't. I didn't have to necessarily cut weight in the sense that I was too heavy. It was just more that I sort of preferred to do it because I'd weigh in, then I'd rehydrate and carb up completely so I could fight hard. Then I'd only have to drop like 1 or 2 kilos of water, like for the night before, which is nothing. It was easy. I was waking up. I think I weighed in almost 500 grams under every day easily, sort of thing. So it was good.
What's your walking weight normally in shape?
In shape, around 66 to 68 in shape.
Oh, that's not too bad. Or you
No.
just really do like easy cut, like 2 kilos normally just water. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So
No, I felt fine.
yeah, you don't really lose nothing. It's
No.
pretty fine to recover for a couple of hours.
Yeah, definitely.
What you're doing outside the sport? You study or you work?
Yeah, so I teach classes at the gym and that, and I do PT. So I'm also a security guard at nightclubs and bars around my local town, which is interesting to say the least. But with all this virus stuff going on, is crap because there's no work now because everything's shut.
Yeah, that doesn't help this industry because like they shut all like bars and coffees and stuff. Probably the only thing that remain left is the bottle shops.
Yep.
Some of them they have guards now because it's getting hectic there as well. But I don't know, it's really hard.
It is. It's crazy. Very crazy.
Yeah, it's weird when you walk in the streets or you go on a shopping center. Sometimes it's like bomb phone. It's like no one there. It just really ghost town now.
Yeah. Or they're buying toilet paper.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. The toilet paper. Oh,
Yeah.
you can get a decent fights on toilet paper.
Yeah, that's my game plan. For 6 months, I might just go buy a bunch and just you can fight me for it. Get some sparring rounds in.
Yeah, well, you know the Carl Anderson, the referee with the beard.
Yep.
He posted recently. You know that if he was stocking food and you cannot fight, he was actually stocking it for me.
Exactly right. That's how it goes, eh?
Yeah, well, it's really insane. No, it's all over the world. It's just not something that's happened like here and there, just all over the place.
It's
I don't
affecting
know.
everyone.
Yeah, it's really awkward time, and like it's very confusing where this all going. Like, how is your gym doing? Are you
My
guys
gym,
close?
no, my gym, yeah, so today's Friday and my gym had to shut on Monday. Every gym had to shut. So fighting gym, my weights gym, everything's shut now, sadly.
Yeah, same here in Queensland. I shut my own gym like 2 weeks ago, and then they shut all fitnesses like somewhere this week. I think it was Monday or something.
Yeah.
So it's now all solo trainings. What's your approach? Like how you deal with the lockdown? Like what's your strategy to go through this? Like
So
as an
I'm
athlete.
I'm fairly lucky because I've got a not a great home setup, but I've got enough to get by. So I've got heavy bags. I've got a big heavy bag. I've got a floor bag. I've got basic barbell setup. So I mean, I'm just doing most of my training at home. So I'll do like strength and conditioning. So I'll do my weights. Then I'll do my cardio. I've got an exercise bike or a run. So that's a morning session, and in the afternoon I do like skills. So say 30 minutes shadow sparring, sort of 30 minutes solo drilling, like footwork combos and that. And then I'll finish with like 30 minutes on my heavy bag. So I'm still getting my sessions in, but they're just not optimal. But you got to make do with what you have, sort of thing. But I'm still trying to train as much as I can.
Yeah, well, it's uh, as an athlete, we have no choice in taking this as a challenge. So like the race is going on, so like it's more mentally than anything else because it's very hard to train without a partner, and now everyone is forced to do that. So you just have to keep yourself mentally strong and just to keep doing whatever you're doing and trying to spice up your training
Yeah,
as much as you
definitely.
can.
That's what I've added a lot of stretching. That's one of the main things I neglect. So I've just been doing heaps of stretching, mobility. So when we can get back to training, my body's sort of primed and ready to go. So I'm not coming in out of shape or anything.
Well, there is other side in that. Like it allows you like because no one knows how long this is gonna go, but it allows uh from one side to focus on stuff that you never have time for, as you say you're
Hmm.
stretching or like any area that you always kind of the problem when you're a competitive athlete is, as you said, especially in tournament format, you normally focus over what you're strong at and over your weakness, and there are always like areas in between that you don't really have time for it
Hmm.
because especially our sport is very complex. There's so much to do, and like there's always areas that we say I have to do this, but it never you never have time for it. So like this work done as working from the positive side gives you kind
Hmm.
of time to focus on these areas that like
Definitely, yeah.
you always was putting aside.
Yeah, definitely. Because I train 2, 3 times a day every day, sort of thing, around work, and then I probably stretch for 5 minutes max all up each day, just like a quick stretch before and after, and that's it, sort of thing. So it was good because I'm sort of really getting like these good 20, 30 minutes in twice a day, sort of on the foam roller, on the boards, just stretching everything out, getting everything loose.
Yeah, stretching is very often neglected in mixed martial arts because we have so many stuff to do. And like once you finish training, you stretch a bit, here and there, and you're ready to go. You have to call the gym. You're out.
Yeah,
So
exactly right.
I remember back in days when I was doing kickboxing. Like you finish training, you sit, you stretch, but it the trains was relatively shorter than the ones that you have to do in MMA, just because the rounds are longer. You have more stuff to work over.
Yeah.
So you don't really have time to do additional routines like stretching and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. It is hard. I normally just want to go home and eat after training. That's my biggest concern.
Yeah, I think it's not only you. I'm one of those as well. Again, if I'm
Yeah.
doing training,
Yeah.
despite that I'm like mostly coaching. True to say the truth, now I'm training more than I'm actually do when my gym is open. Because when I'm in the gym, I'm normally coaching. Now I'm actually training.
You got time to train yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice
So
change.
it's not really nice, but I'm trying to get the positive of it. To just
Yeah, make the most
what
of it.
yeah. Well, I think there's another positive thing. It allows your injuries to heal
That is
because
true.
most of injuries in our sport you get from partner sport, right? Because you never know how your partner's gonna react. So like this workdown kind of allows you know to train a more like controlled environment because you kind of you determine like what you're going to do. So it's kind of gives you chance to heal injuries unless you don't go like really crazy like oh, how was the name of the guy who's fighting
Tony
Khabib now?
Ferguson.
Tony Ferguson.
Doing his sort
This
of
guy
home
can
training.
I'm not surprised if one day he kills himself on his own train. He's just doing so crazy stuff.
He's crazy. He's ridiculous. That's true about injuries though, because I ruptured a knee bursa about 2 weeks before the fight. So my knee had like a baseball on it, and I've been dealing with that for about 4 weeks. I only got it drained yesterday, so it's almost 2-3 weeks since the fights. But it's good because now I can sort of give it time to heal and that. But yeah, it wasn't the funnest thing to deal with.
Yeah, true. And the thing is, it's even harder when you're amateur fighter because as an amateur you very often accept opportunities on short term or just something arise and it's really nice competition you want to go. So you never fight 100%. You never fully heal.
Yeah.
You kind of like always go around injuries like limping one leg and like kicking with the other.
Yeah.
It's always something that is actually hurt, and it's nature of the sport is like this. It's not something surprising, but as an amateur you're even more into that because you never know what's gonna pop up. Like sometimes like shows like people fall off and you want that and you just have to jump in.
You just have jumping exactly right. If I ever get to a fight and I feel 100% injury free, I'm going to be very worried because I don't know, something's not right. I always feel like I need to have that sort of something niggly from a really hard training camp. So I'm like, okay, I've worked hard, let's go get it. I don't want to go in there feeling like I'm 100%.
Yeah, it's kind of something is wrong, like it's you need to limp a bit. Oh, you feel good,
Yeah, I need to have a sore shoulder or my thumb or something's a bit sore.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Oh, wow. So, uh, what what was your previous experience before Oceania? Like,
Record wise or?
yeah, general record-wise, MMA and grappling in general. You said about wrestling.
Yep. So I did freestyle wrestling, and I had probably 80 plus matches in that, because
Oh, cool.
there was about, I think every 2 to 3 weeks there was a wrestling comp. So me and my twin and my dad just drives around. We just competed all over the state and that. And then jiu-jitsu, I probably had, I don't even know, probably around the same, like a lot of jiu-jitsu comps. As white belt, colored belts, compete as blue belt, purple belt. I won the Pan Pacific twice as a blue belt, and then I did that just before I turned 18. Then when I turned 18, I had my first fight. I was still in high school actually. It was funny. I remember I was having to waterload during like my HSC, like your big exams at the end of school, and I almost failed it because I was waterloading and had to go to the toilet like 6 times, and I thought I was cheating. I was trying to explain like I have a 5 liter bottle of water on my desk, but they thought it was just some way for me to cheat. But then they sort of saw the score I got and they realized no one cheats and get 18s out of 100. So I was all clear. So it worked out well.
Oh yeah, that's a funny story. I remember that, like doing waterboarding and have to go to uni, and yeah, you're just pissing all the time, just so hard.
Oh, it's woeful. Yeah, so then I had my first fight, and then I had about 6 months in between my first and second fight. It's really hard to. That's why I liked the IMMAF setting, because I knew if I won all my fights, I was guaranteed 3 fights. Whereas sometimes it takes 3-4 months just to find a fight. So I had the 6 before I went into the tournament, and all 5 were at bantamweight, which I won all 5, and I had a short notice one at featherweight, which I lost. And yeah, so I was 5-1 going into the tournament.
Well, I think that's the problem of the format of amateur MMA here in Australia. These single fights are really making it hard for especially for the people who are good, because better you are, you have hard time finding fights, because
Definitely.
simply people don't want to fight with you. And but this, as looking for perspective of the federation and from coaching career, it doesn't benefit the development of the sport overall in the country. What we need is, I actually started here with IMMAF of Australia. We need here tournaments, and tournaments structured by skill. Because when I start designing these tournaments, on my head was, which is the most popular combat sport in the world? That's jiu-jitsu, isn't it?
Yeah.
And why jiu-jitsu is so popular? Because you can compete on your level all the time. The main problem with MMA is the step to go from training for fun to competing. It's really big one.
Massive step.
It's massive because it's heavy sport. Like, joke aside, it's a heavy sport. It's fun sport. It's like, we're probably biased, but it's the coolest sport in the world. But
by far.
But it's just massive step for the people who just train to go into a sport. So like, think about that. Like, and I'm happy that the guys here in Richie Cranney from IMMAF, the president, and the other guys, they actually adopted this. And we actually was doing this in Eastern Europe, and actually worked very well. So we separate the competition on the skill classes, C, B, and A. And in C and B class, there's similar rules, but they don't have ground pound in the head. You can mark ground pound in the body. Pretty much, this brings the game to on the ground, pretty much to grappling, MMA grappling. Of course, you have to keep position, and if you're able to execute a pin and free one hand, obviously you can attack the body. You can easily make this attack to the head, but it's just safer for the practitioners. And C class is open for people who never have been champions in any combat sport. Like, doesn't matter, like wrestling, jiu-jitsu, like any grappling style, or like boxing or whatever. The people who haven't been champions. That's C class. So B class, they compete in the same rules. Still, it's safer, no ground and pound in the head. But this is for people who have been champions at least once in any combat sport. Like, if you've been champion jiu-jitsu, like, which is most common one, or wrestling, or anything else different than MMA, you go in B class. Which is and the way it works is like this. Obviously, once you win C class, you have to go in B class because you already won the competition. So but this making B class the most busy category, but it's fun because it's a melting pot. So people who has a bit of experience but still not good enough to compete on the full rules, they kind of polish their skills there. And then A class are the guys who are fighting and competing to get into the national team. And so like, we just did like one tournament here in Queensland, and 2 kids tournament for the moment being. But when we was doing this back in Bulgaria, we did a couple of tournaments, and the good thing like this is we can make tournaments often. And the guys who walk all the way since youngsters to A class, like C, B, and A class, they actually generated like about 50 fights within this format. And the competition was on mats. And I don't know what to go on this, but I'm a big proponent on amateur competition on mats because it's just safer from this perspective. The most, from my point of view, the most dangerous thing for development of any combat sport athletes is being KO'd, right? Any other injury you can go over, you can take rest, you can go, but being KO'd is hard injury because it might be detrimental for your health in the long term. But it's very hard, to be honest, to achieve KO on the mat. Because if you push someone, he just goes off the mat. He's obviously losing the fight, but he's not getting really KO. It happens, but it's very rare. And by having like skilled classes, that also makes the fights very equal because guys, they're fighting with people their own level.
Not killers.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
obviously, when they progress up to A
Hmm.
class, yeah, they obviously good there, but
Yeah.
they fight with other people who are in A class. So
Exactly right.
like
Yeah.
they're on a level that they can fight, but they can also defend themselves.
Yeah.
While C and B class, they all for people to develop until they reach the level to go to progress to A class.
Yeah.
And we had very good success. This tournament is very popular. Actually, I have like people from like couple of countries coming, and yeah, well, the guys who turned professional after this format, they was really good. First of all, like you was doing wrestling, you know that actually the cage is helping you once you can compete on mat.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's actually easier, but the thing is, they was very preserved, and when they turned professionals, they was killing because they was preserved. They have no injuries, and yeah, they had lots of experience.
Yes.
So we started this one here, and I think because already did it once. I think it's gonna have good results here as well.
Yeah, definitely. What's the hardest part about MMA? Because it's sort of, if you get heaps of guys going to jiu-jitsu comps, because it's easy, you can do a jiu-jitsu comp on Sunday, and if you get caught in an armbar, you tap, and that's sort of it. But if you get into an MMA fight, you get a bad knockout or something, you're injured, you've got concussion, you can't train, it could affect your work, and for what most amateur fighters I know fight for free sort of thing. So you got to really have that passion for it. So it's hard to find that sort of happy medium between being like a hobbyist and a fighter. Like there needs to be that sort of in between where people who want to have a go at fighting but in a much safer environment are able to still get the relative same experience but not with the same risks that we sort of take.
Well, yeah, that's why I think this is a solution for this sport to get massive, because the whole, okay, not the whole, but one of the purpose of IMMAF's federation globally is to bring this sport into Olympic Games.
Hmm.
And to bring this sport into the Olympic Games, you need this sport to be massive.
Yep.
And if you want to make this sport massive, you have to think not only about the champions, the guys like you who compete on international level, but we need to bring the other people into the gym. We need kids programs, and we need also like this ground for people who are training recreatively to be able to practice the sport. Because I may be biased because I love competing, and it's one of my big struggles because I'm old now and like always like, oh. Watching from outside is it's hardest
No,
thing.
it's tough. Yeah.
But yeah, it's my days in this are gone, so I'm happy I'm able to coach, and at least to help the other guys, to do this, because the thing is awesome. But it's very important the other people who are involved in the sport to be able to practice it. It is very hard for someone to stay in the sport and has no ground to perform it. How long you can train if you're not able to perform what you're learning? Yeah, you can
Exactly
train a
right.
year or two and then it will become boring. You need
Hmm.
ground for people who are like who probably have other job, other goals. They don't want to go national team, but they need to practice their sport.
Yep.
So these safer environments like match tournaments and skill classes, all these people also to experience, like fighting, even in a more relaxed way. And
Yep.
in the same time, the guys who are trying to progress, they're gonna go through the system and go to A class and compete for the national
Exactly
team.
right.
But it's very important for us all. First of all, even for you guys to grow, you need opponents, right? You need to train for tournaments.
Definitely.
But at the same time, we need the people who train recreatively just to be able, to progress and to enjoy the sport.
Hmm. That's what it's like. If you look at any other sports like soccer, rugby league, sort of any sport, even like tennis and things like that, you can train 5 days a week for them, but then you can go out of a weekend and actually put what you train into practice in a game, matches, whatever you do, sort of thing. If you train 5 days a week, there's a big gap between training, just as like I was saying, as a hobbyist before, than training for a fight. And I feel like that's why it's a lot of people don't die, but they leave the sport sort of thing, especially if they're just doing MMA because there's don't have a massive testing ground sort of thing. It's not like we train hard for. Look at first grade local NRL. They train 3-4 times a week and they play a game every weekend. But we fighters we train twice a day, 5-6 times a week, and we get to showcase what we do for once every month or something for 9 to 15 minutes if we're lucky, sort of thing. It's crazy.
If you're lucky, if you're
Yeah, if we're
lucky.
lucky, yeah.
Especially in MMA here in Australia, the way that the things are structured, and I'm hoping to be able to change this. If you're lucky, you can get 3 or maximum 4 fights a year. That's
Yeah.
nothing. In Eastern Europe, people do 3, 4 fights for a tournament.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's what I was lucky. I did this tournament at the start of the year because of the current situation, everything going on. Who knows how long it's going to be for someone to be able to fight again in Australia? Will be at least a few months or something. So I was happy I could get them 3 fights in. So it's a much better tournament. Like I said, I did 10 weeks of training for 3 fights instead of 10 weeks of training for 1 fight.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Now pretty much most, if not all, combat sport tournament are postponed, and like in the moment like this, we put this behind us. You need at least like 2, 3 months until athletes actually get back in shape
Mm-hmm.
to be able to start. So this might go to like half to a year from now
Yeah, it's
to
crazy.
start competing again. I
Yeah,
hope I hope some kind of miracle happen, and scientists work something out, because I think that every single like scientist now like should be like trying
yeah,
to figure out how to solve this, because it's a disaster. Even
definitely.
And it's not only a sport. We talk about sport, but everyone start feeling the economical consequence of this one. Like jobs are getting cancelled. Like
It affects
hours
everything.
done.
Yeah,
Like and thinking, from this perspective, how long the world can hold on in such a lockdown. It's very awkward situation. I hear now like on the news, leaders of the country start trying to figure out, okay, like how long we can keep that. Yes, we have to keep people healthy, but in the same time, if you don't have economics of the working like at all,
yeah,
how
exactly
how we
right.
how we keep them fed, right? It's
Yeah,
very very awkward. So it's kind of, I don't know. Hopefully not, but might
it's a,
happen. Might bring to a situation where like you have to estimate which can bring more losses, which is, I don't know. It's a very hard decision to make.
it's a very crazy situation to be in. It's yeah, who knows where it's gonna go. Hopefully it gets better. Otherwise, for sparring partners, I'm just gonna have to go down to Woolies and just start hoarding things and get people to spar me for it. I'm gonna have
It's
to do
just,
all my sparring via Skype or something, so I
yeah,
can stay sharp and ready.
yeah. I don't care for toilet paper, guys. I need someone to fight.
Yeah, exactly right. I'll just block off an aisle and just get sparring partners in that way. I just get these random people to start shark tanking me.
And worst case scenario, like you can ask the Woolies, to get you a job for security guard, so you can do this legally.
Exactly right. I can be the best toilet paper guard around.
uh, well, where this thing with the toilet paper start? It just has it happens because everyone start buying toilet paper, because everyone is buying toilet paper.
Yeah,
Doesn't make sense at all.
it's crazy. I'm just lucky though, because all the food I like, it's all diet food. So all the food I eat is still there. So I just walk into the shops, I can get my everything I eat, and there's no issues. But I see other people sort of struggling to get by with what they need.
Well, there's no really problem with food, except that last week I went to the supermarket. I was like, oh, then there's nothing to buy, because everyone was like getting crazy
Crazy.
about it.
Yeah.
And and they buy stupid stuff. Like that's what kind of freaks me out. Like I would understand if people was talking like non-perishable food, or like medis, or like kind of medical stuff.
Yeah.
But stocking toilet paper and tissues, like what you gonna do? Just
Yeah.
it's not gonna save you from nothing.
Exactly right. It's crazy.
It,
But
it's
also they're just taking all the meat as well. All the fresh
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And how much meat you can store? It's like it's perishable.
Exactly
You
right.
can only store so much.
And for so long too.
Yeah, yeah. You just in certain moment you start rotting. Like whatever you do, except if you don't have like big ass freezer, to to
Yeah.
store.
To chuck it all in, yeah. As long as they still got peanut butter on the shelves, I'm happy.
Yeah, peanut butter is my saver as well.
Yeah,
I
as long
like
as
peanut.
that and some Reese's cups stay, I'll be happy. I might need to start stocking up soon though, if things get worse.
Yeah, hopefully not much of those people will listen to that because now everyone, oh, the peanut butter.
Yeah, they're just gonna steal it to spite me.
Yeah. Oh, uh, how people can follow you on social
Yeah.
network?
So I've got Instagram, it's just my name, Colby Thicknesse. My Facebook is Colby Golden Boy Thicknesse, and pretty much that's it. I don't have a Twitter or anything like that. So just Facey and Insta.
Yeah, sweet. And your team?
Yeah, so team is Freestyle Fighting Gym. My head coach is Joe Lopez, and my other coach is Alex Volkanovski.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I made an interview with one of your young guys.
Oh,
Back
Jake?
yeah,
Yeah,
Jake,
Jake. Yeah,
Jake, Trayvon.
Cherryville. Yeah,
Yeah, it's you guys have to. Is it the gym thing to have like hard names to pronounce?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. We don't make it easy, do we?
How is correct way to pronounce your family name?
Thicknesse.
Thickness.
Yeah,
Oh, that's not too bad.
no, it's easily rememberable. We'll say.
Well, I cannot complain too much. My name is not really easy, even home, but I really have like hard time with some of the names here because there are people from all over the place.
Yeah,
So sometimes I'm just trying to figure out how to pronounce the name. Like very
just
often I
guessing it.
mispronounce.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, cool, brother. Thanks for that.
No, thank you very much, my man.
Do you want to shout out for someone else, your coaches, if you have sponsors?
Yeah, I'll shout out Elite Sup Shahava, Eddie's Barbershop, and then everyone who donated to the GoFundMe to get me up to the Gold Coast, and all the boys who came up and supported me. Just cheers for the support, guys, and can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, sweet brother. Good luck in everything. Stay strong and stay healthy. Send me links to your Facebook profiles, and if
Yep.
you want to send this the GoFundMe, I'm gonna put it to the episode.
Okay, legend.
And yeah, let's stay strong and see what the future will bring.
Definitely, my man. Take care.
Have a good one, brother.
Thank you, you too, bro.
Cheers. Thank you for listening to the Fight Zone podcast. Subscribe in your podcast app to receive the next episodes where I talk with other champions and officials after IMMAF Oceania 2020. Stay strong and stay safe. This episode is brought to you by Tambourine Spring Water. Visit tambourinSprings.com.au or call 0434 952 449 to order your water today. Tambourine Spring Water is a local business situated on Mount Tambourine. Their water is bottled at the source on their 163-meter deep privately owned spring. The spring provides access to a free-flowing underground stream, which is where their premium quality spring water comes from. It then goes through a very strict sediment and UV filtration process to ensure the final product remains both consistent and of brightest quality. It is then bottled and stored until it leaves for the client's home or office. Most water companies in Australia all cart their water from a contractor before being processed and then bottled, which leaves lots of room for contamination and foreign bodies entering the water. In Tambourine Springs, it's a matter of minutes from when the water is extracted from the spring into a bottle, which is then sealed and stored into a cool, dark environment. The spring water is naturally bacteria-free and passes all quality tests prior to filtration. Despite that, Tambourine Springs water have one of the strictest filtration systems, so there is no room for error when it comes to your drinking water. They do not add any chemicals whatsoever to the drinking water. The only thing the filters are doing is removing sand and sediments that comes naturally with the water. The 3-stage system is there to ensure no bacteria have found its way into the water. When you purchase your water from Tambourine Spring Water, you know you will receive the best spring water Southeast Queensland has to offer from a local family on a mission to provide the best service and quality. Water companies are often blamed with a good reason for polluting the environment with plastic bottles. This is not the case with Tambourine Spring Water. Your water is delivered to your door in 50 or 20 liter bottles, and your used bottles are collected, disinfected and refilled again, so zero plastic waste goes into the environment. Me and my family are also using Tambourine Springs water way before they decided to sponsor this podcast. By experience, once you drink real spring water for a while, you cannot drink from the sink anymore or any commercial waters from the supermarket because it smells bad and has bad taste. Ridiculously enough, in Australia you can mix 50% of the water with tap water and label and sell it as spring water. This is not the case with Tambourine Springs water. I personally know the family who owns it, and I have been numerous times in their small factory to see my water being bottled straight from the spring after the filtration process. Majority of my team also purchase their drinking water from Tambourine Springs Water. Find out more at tambourinnesprings.com.au or call 0434 952 449 to order your water today.